At the corner of Royal and Governor Nichols Streets in New Orleans' historic French Quarter, sits a stately three-story stuccoed building widely known as the LaLaurie Mansion. For generations, this structure has served a dual purpose in the public imagination. It is both a tangible historical landmark and the epicenter of one of America's most chilling ghost stories. This report navigates the intricate relationship between these two narratives, the documented record and the pervasive folklore, to provide a nuanced understanding of the property's enduring legacy. The power of the LaLaurie Mansion story, it is argued, lies in its ability to resist simple categorization, existing instead as a testament to the intangible marks that trauma can leave upon a place. The first reality is grounded in historical fact. It is a place where unimaginable human cruelty occurred, deeply tied to the brutal institution of slavery. The mistress of the house, Madame Delphine LaLaurie, was a wealthy socialite, yet behind the facade of her lavish parties, she perpetrated acts of sadistic violence against the enslaved people in her household. This history is not a ghost story, it is a human one. The second reality is one of legend. For nearly 2 centuries, the mansion has been a source of countless supernatural tales, whispers of ghostly apparitions, disembodied screams, and a lingering curse. These stories, passed down through tours, books, and television, transform the historical site into a stage for the paranormal. But the ghost stories grew directly from the fertile ground of historical trauma. The verifiable horror of what happened here gave birth to the legends, a cultural response to a past so horrific it is difficult to confront without the veil of myth. Born Marie Delphine McCarty in 1787, Delphine LaLaurie was a member of a wealthy and politically powerful Creole family, granted a life of privilege and social prominence. By the 1830s, she was a notable socialite, hosting extravagant parties at her newly constructed neoclassical mansion at 1140 Royal Street. The wealth and status of families like the LaLauries were inextricably linked to the brutal institution of slavery, an active and central component of New Orleans society. Despite her public persona, disturbing rumors of cruelty toward the enslaved people in her household circulated throughout the community. According to some sources, LaLaurie was first investigated for cruelty in 1828, paying a prominent attorney a $300 fee for his defense. Rumors persisted, leading a local lawyer to be dispatched to her home in 1832 to remind her of the laws regarding the care of enslaved people, though he found no evidence of wrongdoing during his visit. The escalating rumors culminated in a specific, widely reported incident in 1833. A neighbor allegedly witnessed a young enslaved girl, sometimes named Leah or Leah, fall to her death. While attempting to flee a whip-wielding LaLaurie, her body was reportedly buried on the mansion grounds. This forced LaLaurie to forfeit 9 of her enslaved people. However, she circumvented the law by having a relative secretly purchase them and return them to her possession. The horrifying truth was finally exposed on April 10, 1834, when a fire broke out. It was started by a 70-year-old enslaved cook who was chained to the stove, a suicide attempt to escape a punishment she claimed no one ever returned from. As firefighters and bystanders attempted to control the flames, they discovered the keys to a locked attic room. Upon forcing their way in, they found a chamber of horrors. Contemporary newspaper accounts reported the discovery of 7 slaves, more or less horribly mutilated, found suspended by the neck with their limbs stretched and torn. They were emaciated and showed signs of severe flaying. News of the atrocities ignited a furious public reaction. A mob ransacked the mansion while LaLaurie and her husband managed to escape, eventually fleeing to Paris. Since the fire of 1834, the LaLaurie Mansion has become a repository for all manner of supernatural claims. The tales began almost immediately, with reports of tormented shrieks echoing from the ruins. The documented facts of this brutal discovery provide the foundation for the grotesque claims that would emerge in later folklore. The shift from historical reports to later, more sensationalized descriptions of a woman in a crab-like form, or a person with a stick in their brain, demonstrates a clear evolution of the narrative. The folklore is extensive, with claims of blood-curdling screams, the sound of chains being dragged, and phantom footsteps echoing through the house. Visual apparitions are common, including a large, chained black man who reportedly confronted a tenant in the 1870s before dissolving into a cold mist. Others claim to witness a reenactment of the young girl Leah falling from the roof, her spirit trapped in a tragic loop, And the spirit of Madame LaLaurie herself is said to appear, a woman with long red hair, seen glaring from windows or over a baby's crib. The claims even extend to the non-human. A tenant in the 1890s claimed harassment by a demon or sprite before he was later murdered. A crucial, often overlooked fact is that the current building is not the original mansion. The original was largely destroyed and a new larger structure was built on the site in 1838. This suggests a more profound form of haunting, where the energy of the past has imprinted itself upon the land and any structure built upon it. This belief in a curse was famously reinforced by actor Nicolas Cage, who purchased the property in 2006, only to lose it to foreclosure within 3 years, a downfall local legend attributes to the mansion's malevolent influence. Today, the LaLaurie Mansion story is primarily consumed through the commercial mediums of tourism and entertainment. This commodification has faced criticism from historians, who argue it glorifies the mistreatment of enslaved people, repackaging their suffering as entertainment. Its infamy was cemented by American Horror Story Coven, which took great creative liberties and wasn't even filmed at the actual mansion, further blurring the lines between history and legend for a global audience. Despite the extensive claims, there are no formal paranormal investigations. The house is a private residence, its secrets kept by its owners, thriving in the space of the unverifiable. The true horror of the LaLaurie Mansion lies not in ghost stories, but in the documented cruelty of its mistress and the real suffering of the enslaved. The legends are a cultural response to a past so horrific it is difficult to confront without the veil of myth. The mansion's legacy serves as a powerful monument to unimaginable cruelty and a complex reflection on how societies choose to remember and profit from their darkest moments. It is a place haunted not just by spirits but by the weight of its own past.